there's nobody, there's no face that was more symbolic of the NFL other than Vince Lombardi's. And then when Lombardi was gone, there was Shula. I mean, Shula was the standard. He was there. He was winning. He was there every year. He was a very important guy. He was, the main thrust of the competition committee. What he said went. That was it. Shula was, you had Shula and you had Landry, and they were on the same plane. They were, big winners, but they also were guys that were known to be clean cut. They did it their way, and, that was it. That you had those two guys. And the amazing thing, as Shula won more, he started coaching at a very young age. He was a head coach at 32 or 33. I think it was either one or the other. I think it was 33. Obviously lost that championship to the Jets and the Namath with that, crazy game with the Colts. That game bothered him a lot. Went to the Dolphins, lost his first Super Bowl. Remember, he gets to the Super Bowl and gets beat by the Cowboys and Landry and Staubach 24-3. But comes back off that and wins back-to-back Super Bowls, including the perfect season. And the perfect season meant a great deal to them because there's two things that really stand out for Shula. Number one, he's the winningest coach of all time. Number two, he coached the only perfect team in the history of the sport. Lombardi didn't do that. Paul Brown didn't do that. Tom Landry didn't do that. Bill Belichick didn't do that. Don Shula did it. Now, the amazing thing, Shula has a losing record in the Super Bowl. The other thing is how it's shocking that Shula and Dan Marino, as good as Shula was, as good as Dan Marino was, it's amazing they did not team up and win a title. That is almost hard. And when you look back on their history, it's almost hard to fathom that those two would be together as they were and not able to win a championship together. But, year after year, Shula was there. And Joe Brown, the longtime executive who lives near me and he texts me sometimes and I see him from time to time, he told me that there was a time, think about this, Jet fans, where Shula almost came up to coach the Jets. And the plan was that Shula was going to coach him for a couple of years and then hand him off to his son. How about that if that had happened? I never heard that story till today. Joe Brown told me that story today. He said, Shula came close once to coaching the Jets. I said, I never heard that. How about that? And he said the deal was he was just going to coach him for a year or two and then turn him over to his son. Imagine if that, think about how history might have changed if that had ever happened. How about that? Well, I never heard that he came close to coaching another team. But when you think about the league and you think about coaches, you obviously see Lombardi. You obviously see the man in the hat and Landry. And you see Paul Brown. And future generations will see the hoodie in Belichick. But there was Shula, rock-jawed, always there with that same look. And he was the NFL. Shula's profile is one of the profiles that is enduring to the National Football League. If you were going to paint 5 portraits in the history of the National Football League, you would paint Don Shula's as one of them. That's how big he was. You cannot overstate Shula's importance to the National Football League. That's how big it was. So if you're young enough and you're like, what's the fuss about this 90-year-old guy who died? Go back and look and you'll see what the fuss was. He's the winningest coach ever. He coached the only undefeated team ever. And he was a standard in this league for a very, very long time. That was Shula. That's all there was to it. Hey, who are you playing against this week? Playing against Shula. That's it. It was Shula. So he was that big. This is one of the enduring icons in the history of football. That's who passed today. Lived a very long life, had a great life. He had a lot of success. He had a lot of success in football. He had a lot of success in life. His Shula steakhouses were very successful. I think everything he touched, he was Mr. Florida. He was Mr. Miami. Real estate, developments, this, that. Shula was enormous. He had a great life. He lived 90 years. And he will long be remembered as one of the true giants of the sport.